All right, hello everyone. My name is Peter. Today we're going to be doing some real-time drawing in the sketchbook. Just going to sit here, draw, chat with you, see what's up. It's 11 o'clock at night, but we can draw until bedtime at least. I'm not sure when bedtime is. I've got some of the nice, I think it was like rose and mint relaxing herbal tea right here, which I might start sipping on in a minute once. I think it's steeped enough, but I don't think it's cool enough to drink yet. I got this in a previous video. I think someone named Draco sent it in. Also, I think someone sent this mug in. It's very, very dangerous to try to look at the bottom of a mug while you have stuff in it. It's way too hot. Way too hot. Anyways, today we're going to be using this Quico AL Sport. This aluminum version of the Quico pen, which I liked more than I expected. It's got all the shininess, actually slightly more shiny than like a stainless steel pen, but it's lighter, almost lighter in weight and appearance, almost silverier. But I think it'll start showing scratches and stuff faster than maybe stainless steel would. But the only downside I've really noticed is that it almost, I don't know, my hands start getting a little clammy sometimes. And it starts feeling almost a little bit too slippery in my hands. So I'm just kind of starting without thinking about it. If I were to think about it, the thing I would be thinking is that I've kind of been starting all my drawings the same way recently. The problem with drawing in ink is that I kind of subconsciously try not to put my hand on top of wet ink, which also subconsciously or consciously means that I start my drawings up in this upper left-hand corner of the paper. But since this isn't a drawing that I'm going to be speeding up, maybe I should be more okay with like turning the paper and stuff like that. So maybe I'll try to do a little bit more rotation to the paper than I normally do. Because that's why I usually start up in that corner. Because I try not to rotate the paper. Anyways, I've talked about that before. Also, the ink I'm using today is this Kiwi ink, which I used before for a dip pen, but someone was telling me that it's more, maybe better for fountain pens in some way. It's more about like how it flows through like medium and fine nibs and stuff like that. It's been working pretty good. I used it for this previous drawing. The only downside is it does get a little bit smudgier than some of my other inks that I've been using a little more frequently, but it looks good. Just gotta be careful not to put my hand on top of any of it, even if it seems dry, because it does seem like it will smudge. Anyways, how are all of you doing? It's right now, I don't know what day of the week it is. Well, this tells you what type of person I am. It's Friday night, and here I am. Anyone else at home? Anyone else watching this late on a Friday night? I'm here with you. Thank you for joining me. I don't know, there's this weird, I don't know, it's not weird. It's obviously, it makes sense that it's more common to go out and do things on a Friday night because you don't have work or school the next day. So you can stay up and, it's okay if you feel worse the next morning. So it's not weird. I don't know why I was saying it's weird. I personally, even though I don't have like a typical job, am also more likely to do things on a Friday night just because that's probably when my friends are more likely to want to do something. This is a medium nib pen, by the way. M. I'll try going for a sip of this tea now. But to say that's some good leaf water, but if it is rose tea, rose and mint, is it also leaf and petal water? Are petals a type of leaf? And what determines if something is a tea? Does it just have to be plant stuff in boiled water? Like, is coffee a type of tea? I feel like it is. If you can make tea out of rose petals, then coffee, it's hard to explain away coffee being tea, or not being tea. Or I'm mixing myself up now. I do have a little fan on going right now. I hope it's not too loud. But sometimes the sound of a fan can be very soothing. Like, I know a lot of people who run fans at night just because the sound of it, like a little white noise generator, is very soothing. But I don't know if it's as soothing in the background of a video, after the audio has been processed and some of it's, I don't know, maybe the satisfying parts of it you can't hear it anymore. I personally do always have a fan on when I sleep, but it's almost, I don't know if my fan makes that much noise. I feel like it's also partly just because I feel weird. I notice when I sleep in a place without a fan that the air just feels so stagnant, even though most of my body is covered, just like my face poking out above the sheets. It's like weirdly apparent that air isn't moving very much if I'm somewhere without a fan. Like air conditioning, even if there's some vents and there's air conditioning, that doesn't seem to move the air very much. It feels like I'm in the doldrums. Are the doldrums a real thing? I feel like I read about those in some seafaring novel a long time ago when I was little. Apparently, this is what I gathered, that the doldrums are there's like bands of wind or something, or like pocket areas of wind in the ocean, but then you can get stuck in areas where there's no wind. But it also seemed like I saw a diagram at some point where it was like, this is where the doldrums are, and there's like a very distinct pattern. And I was like, but there are like long lines of these areas without wind. And if you're in a ship which relies on wind, right? Sails. It seems like it would be very hard to avoid some of these areas because they're very long, very wide. I'm just very skeptical about all of it. I mean, it's a real word. I didn't make the word up. Whoever I read that, they didn't make the word up. Maybe they kind of blew it out of proportion, is what I'm wondering. Give the wrist a rest. Wrist rest. I feel like the first place I start feeling tension or fatigue when I'm drawing is like right here, the upper back of my hand. I got a haircut today. It was okay. It was good. That's really all I have to say about it. Really, the main thing that can go wrong with a haircut for me is that the person cutting my hair tries to talk to me too much. Like, I personally would be fine with just sitting there in total silence the whole time, just sitting there with my eyes closed and just listening and feeling them cut my hair, right? It's actually a very pleasant sensation, all of it. I'll just find me sitting there in silence with my eyes closed, hearing all the little buzzings and clippings and the comb and the this and that, right? But sometimes I don't know, maybe some of them take pride in their ability to chit-chat or something. And sometimes it's fine. Like, this person did talk to me a little bit, and it wasn't awful. It was okay. And there were still moments where they left me just sit there in silence. And I just kind of, at one point, I don't think I even had my eyes closed, but it was kind of the equivalent. I was just kind of staring off into the distance, like looking at myself in the mirror, but I don't think I was looking at myself. I was just like staring at my knees or something, daydreaming. The person behind me came in, and I thought that they were, the person behind me in the salon, they were also waiting. When I came in, they were waiting, and they had already an immaculate haircut. Like one of those, like the edges were all edged up. There's like a perfect shaved, like fade, and the top section was like longer and like perfectly combed and gelled. And I thought they were like waiting for a friend or something. But then they went and got in a chair, and the person was like, I feel like those, and I was daydreaming about being a person like that must go in every week or something just to get it retouched up. I was like, that actually, I was daydreaming, like maybe that could actually be cool to like start caring. Could be interesting, you know? Get some gels, some products. It's just called product when you put it in your hair. Stuff you put in your hair is called product. It's so vague. Product. Product of what? The hair gel factory? And I don't know, it could be interesting. Like, I feel like that would be a whole different version of me. I feel like it's kind of a hobby. It's its own little hobby. Caring about that. And I'm not trying to say it's bad. I suddenly daydreamed and experienced this whole other version of myself that also came in every week. And yeah, it was weirdly entertaining. But I feel like the rest of your personality also kind of has to go along with that sort of thing. Like when you're so fastidious about something like your hair, if the rest of you, if the way you present yourself in any other way is sloppy, this kind of seems like there's a discrepancy that is kind of weird, which also could be kind of cool in its own way. I mean, that could be a style. Like, wow, he's got crazy crisp hair, but he dresses like crap. All his shirts have stains on them, and there's stuff in his teeth or something, you know? It's just like, I don't know, maybe that's a thing. Is that what style is? Just making people look twice and wonder, take note? I'm not sure. Having a personal style. Should rotate. Got a lot of stuff on my desk. Here's a little ink cartridge that came in this pen. Ink cartridges are the worst. This tea is making me burpy for some reason. Also, for some reason, talking into a microphone makes me burpy all the time. Maybe I'd talk differently. No, I think I like breathe differently is the problem. Like I take shorter, less efficient breaths or something. So today, time of me recording this, it is July 30th, and that means in about 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks-ish, starting school again, which should be interesting. I enjoyed it. I've completed one full year of interior architecture school, and it went good. I enjoyed it. So I expect to enjoy the second year. That's really all I have to say. Looking forward to it is what I'm trying to say. Yes. Also, I just finished reading a book called The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. Update on my reading. By reading, I mean audiobook. I listened to an audiobook. Pretty good. It's part of a series called the Mistborn series. It's kind of like a fantasy series. And it was recommended to me by several people, actually. I would recommend it. It's pretty good. I mean, as far as fantasy series goes. Right now, there's like a bunch more books in that series. I might go on and listen to, read and listen to more of them. But right now, I'm also going back and finishing another book I started a while ago that I didn't finish called The Three Body Problem. So that one's also pretty interesting. And those I've been listening to mostly while I draw. For some reason, for a long time, I couldn't listen to audiobooks while I drew. For a long time, I could. Like, I went through phases. And these were long phases, like phases 7-8 years long. And I'm just coming out of a phase maybe like 7 years long where I couldn't listen to audiobooks while I was drawing. And I mean, it's very handy to be able to. I don't know what changed. Something did. And now, once again, the golden age of drawing is back because I feel like I can... I mean, this is just my... it's a common problem I have where I feel like I have to get more done in the smallest amount of time possible, So, I mean, it feels good in that respect. It's probably not healthy because I'm feeding this need to get more stuff done. Not that I'm really getting anything done by listening to a book, but... I mean, that's even partly why I like walking, because when I go walking, I don't listen to novels when I walk. That's when I listen to, like, nonfiction lectures and stuff. Right now I've been listening to lectures about medieval myths and legends, and like which ones of those are true and based on reality, and stuff like that. They were talking about like King Arthur, the Holy Grail, Robin Hood, how there was never really probably anyone named King Arthur, but there could have been a person who the legends are based off of, but there was never a king named Arthur. But there was at least probably a hero, they think, that maybe not even named Arthur, that the legends came from. And then the opposite happened with Robin Hood, where there are all a bunch of different legends, and then after all of these legends started to be spread, people started to ascribe certain people to the legends. So it was like, with Robin Hood, it was like a bunch of branching different legends that started to coerce or become just a couple different people. And then with King Arthur, it was maybe one person in history that started branching out into like a billion different stories and legends and stuff. It's pretty interesting. Apparently there was never really any such thing as, at least not in common practice, any such thing as a chastity belt or an Iron Maiden. You know those coffins lined with spikes on the inside? apparently the rack was real, where you'd strap people to it, arms and legs in different directions, and start pulling or stretching them. I guess with a mechanical advantage. By far my favorite Robin Hood movie is the Disney one. Even though there are just a lot of good Robin Hood movies out there. It's just a good story. Apparently there are even earls or something in England right now who call themselves, like, Robin Hood is part of their name, even though no one was actually named Robin Hood back then. Like, they've somehow taken it into their made it part of their nobility. It's weird. Especially since he stole from the rich and gave to the poor, didn't he? But apparently that's part of how the tale really started catching on, is that at first he was just a ruffian, like living outside of the whole order of medieval society. Apparently medieval society, this is just, like, I haven't tried fact checking any of the stuff I've heard in these lectures, okay? I'm just regurgitating some of what I've heard while walking around my neighborhood. It's just been wired into my ears, okay? Medieval society was structured in three classes. The nobility at the top, the clergy, that is like the monks and the nuns and priests and stuff, and then the commoners. And about 5% of them, the nobility was about 5% of the population. Their role in society was to fight and to rule, but they had to fight. That's why they were like the knights and stuff. And then the clergies, they were tasked with the spiritual health of the nation. They had to, like, pray for the people and run the, various priestly duties. And then the commoners, their duty was just to, like, work. Pretty straightforward. But then Robin Hood, apparently, he just lived out in the forest and he wasn't any of that. But then the story really caught on when people started saying that Robin Hood was actually a noble in hiding. I guess more people, when the nobles started to be able to relate with the story, that's when it really caught on, because they weren't happy with, like the King John or whoever was there when Richard the Lionheart was away. Apparently King John was a terrible king. All the movies got that part right. Was he actually king? He was terrible at it, regardless. And he would go about the countryside, and he would take the entire royal treasury with him in, like, a big carriage. All the gold that England had, he would take with him. And at one point, they were fording a river, and the carriage flipped over in the river, and it all just washed away in the river, I guess. I mean, that's what it said in the lecture, but I find that hard to believe, because how do gold coins wash away in a river? I mean, I guess that some rivers are very big, very strong, but wouldn't they just, like, go to the bottom? Because coins are very, very heavy. But I guess if it's a strong enough river to wash away a carriage full of gold coins, they would be irretrievable and get scattered along the bottom of the river. But I bet that's where the villagers were hanging out for a long time. And then King John died of dysentery. And that's where the sheriff of Nottingham came from, because King John was so bad at the finances, he would just sell positions. He needed money, so he was just like, who wants to be sheriff? Come buy the position. I don't know if any of this is true, but they said it was true in the lecture. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. How's this drawing looking so far? Pretty interesting. I do draw these ovoid type shapes a little bit more recently. Kind of makes it look like some sort of anatomical diagram or something. I'm not sure. There was a little smudge in here somewhere that I covered up. And apparently no one could even really agree on what the Holy Grail was. Some people think it was a cup. Some people think it was like a serving platter. Some people think it was a person or a meteorite from outer space. It's like so many different things in so many different stories. And maybe that's what makes it so powerful, they were saying, just because, just being, its vagueness gives it more mystery. I don't know. Well, let me know if this kind of looks like a little animal up here, like some sort of little weasel or marmot or something. Oh yeah, let me rotate. I have a piece of paper behind this piece of paper because the paper in the sketchbook is very very thin. The tea is pretty good. I think I probably made it too strong because I never took the tea bag out. So it's my fault if it tastes a little weird, I think. It tastes kind of like... Well, weirdly, the first thing that popped in my head was soap. Maybe there's still soap in the cup. I don't know. Rotating the paper feels very weird. It makes me feel it makes me feel disoriented, to be honest. But I think it's good for me. Also, in some places on the paper, I've noticed it consistently throughout this sketchbook. In this area of every page, the ink doesn't seem to stick as well. I don't know if it's like this run of the paper, or I don't think it's... I mean, I rest my hand over here, so I don't think it's because like oils from my hand, right? I don't know what it is. Like the ink just seems less color fast there. The black is more gray. Seems like more I'm drawing on like a sheet of plastic than a sheet of paper down in this area. It's kind of weird, but I've noticed it consistently over several sheets in this sketchbook. But I don't know if that's like a thing that can happen. Apparently I need to research more about how paper is made. I kind of thought I knew, but now that I think about it, I'm not sure I do. Now there's take wood and then make it into pulp or something, chop it up, spit it out, roll it up, dry it, something. I don't know. A lot of cool looking machines, probably. I love the machines that are in like assembly lines and stuff like that. All the whirring mechanisms and rollers and love that stuff. I want to figure out how to get tours of factories. I don't have a good reason besides I want to look at your machines. And no, I'm not some sort of corporate spy. I just want to look. Let me look. I'll come in just with my sketchbook. Although it'd be happier if they let me bring a camera so I could take lots of pictures. I'll sign an NDA, please. That's why I like looking at construction sites too. When I was little, my dad, sometimes he'd take me and we'd just go to construction sites and we'd watch like all the tractors and cranes and, just like the building half made there. You could see its guts, all the rebar sticking out of the concrete. And I love that. Those are cool lines. I like reinforced concrete because of that. Sometimes just like a bunch of rebar before they pour the concrete in. Half built buildings, they're really cool. You gotta admit. Because we used to go to the public library in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, and right across the street from the public library they were building this huge, tall skyscraper called the Hearst Tower. Long completed now. But we watched pretty much the whole process. We'd go there every week. If not twice a week. I don't know. I feel like we went there a lot. We watched them tear down everything that was there, and they dug down like a whole city block area. They dug down like 4 stories, and they started building the foundation. And then, they had the pile drivers there. They sunk down all these big, deep beams into the ground for the foundation and slowly started building it up. It's very satisfying to see the progress every week as we went. And sometimes they would put up like fences with, what's it called? My brain's not working. Plywood. They put up fences or plywood or like tarps around it, but they would cut little holes in it, just face size, so you could still stick your face in there and watch it. Watch the construction. I'm assuming that's why the holes are there. They knew people wanted to see. Either that or maybe to let air through or something so the fences wouldn't get blown down. I don't know. Maybe there was some other more utilitarian reason to put holes in the fences. But I choose to believe it was for me. Very burpy. Excuse me. I've been watching a lot of those, like period pieces, movies too. I'm kind of in that mood lately. Like I watched this movie called The King, Timothy Chalamet. Is that how you say his name? By the way, he's going to be in that new Dune movie. Oh, I can't wait for that movie. It looks so good. The new trailer. Oh, it looks amazing. I'm hesitant. I want to reread the book before the movie comes out, but it's like I'm conflicted because I also want to kind of prioritize reading books I haven't read before, but also I want to reread it because I don't remember exactly everything that happened in it. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just watch the movie and enjoy it because I think it'll be a great movie anyways. If it's anything like, what was it like? What else did he do? Blade Runner 2049 or whatever it was called. Arrival. Those were pretty great. We need more epic science fiction, like high budget stuff like that. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. Oh yeah, so I watched The King. That was a pretty good movie with Timothée Chalamet. And then one of my favorite movies like that is The Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom. I almost said Elijah Wood. And it's got like Liam Neeson in it. Edward Norton plays the King of Jerusalem, which you can't really tell. Eva Green, I think that's her name. I love that movie. It's just epic. Just kind of putting some little, I like this kind of empty spot in the middle here. Y'all are great company, by the way. You're doing great. The tea is making me a little toasty. Oh yeah, there we go. I like drawing like little lines with a little ball on top like that for some reason. I like that. It satisfies me in ways I can't explain. Nor do I want to. Yep. Yep. My tea's almost gone. Did I draw some of these out of camera? I wasn't paying attention. Off camera. Sorry, I'm new to all this whole YouTube thing. Like and subscribe. Is that better? Yeah, I like this section right here. That doesn't have much in it. I feel like I need more of that in some of my drawings. It's like a balance, right? Like sections like this, a lot of detail, more sections with like darkness, more sections with nothing but lightness. But the right amount of each. That's the difficulty. And what to put in each, and how to make each area. Just gotta do it. Just gotta try. If not this drawing, then maybe the next. Maybe the next. But this one's pretty great. The nice part about needing dark black areas in a drawing is that if you don't ever like something you've drawn, you just like, oh, that's going to be a dark black area now. And don't tell anybody either, right? That you didn't. I mean, I already tell you that I'm not planning anything else, but I'm not telling you that I mean, even in my mind, it's not really a mistake, you know? Everything's fine. I'm trying to tell you, everything's fine, okay? Are you hearing me? Good. But even all that stuff I said about needing a balance of, lightness and darkness and this and that, and that's just me thinking about out loud about my own drawings. That's not like a prescriptive statement about how all art should be. It's just how little goals I have for what I'm kind of looking for personally, and what I've got going on. You can have totally different goals and still make really cool stuff. You know me. I don't like being that person who's like, art has to be like this or that, or so on and so forth, etc. That's my pet peeve, when people say etc. But it's a pretty small pet peeve, because, I mean, it's Latin, isn't it? It's not even a living language, so who cares? But at a certain point, if a phrase or a word from a different language gets used enough times in our language, does it become part of our language? Like, is etc. English yet? Is it like English with Latin origins? It's a Latin word it's part of English. Like, it's in the English dictionary probably, isn't it? Maybe a lot of Latin words are. I don't know. I've never really thought about that. Put some straight lines here at the bottom to contrast all the wavy, curvy randomness in the rest of the drawing. Yeah, the lines definitely look different down here in this corner of the paper, and I don't know why. Don't know why. I've noticed it. I'll even venture to say this. I've noticed it in other sketchbooks also. Not necessarily just this corner, but some areas of the paper act differently. It's just the paper isn't a perfect thing. It's just some parts of it, different qualities. Everything feels really nice right now. Sitting here, drawing, the temperature's perfect. Got the fan on. The lines are happening on the paper. What's not to like? Just take a moment. When you're happy and everything feels okay, even just for a minute, for a second, just verbally note it. Like, this is nice. I feel like most of the time I get caught up in when I feel miserable and I'm like, ugh, I feel miserable. But every now and then, hey, things are nice. Things are nice. So here we have another heap, another lump of lines. Just a massful, just a clump of something sitting here asking begging to be categorized. I don't know. I think I've been drawing a lot of these lately, stuff like this. It's just like, what's up? It's not anything, really. It doesn't need to be. And they're all kind of the same shape, too, because I'm drawing them on these, like, vertical sheets of paper. I like this one. I did this one in a coffee shop. Maybe that helped. I was jacked up on caffeine, so I was like, ah. Go ahead and put the finishing touches on this one. I think it's about done. I could put something else up here at the top. No, I mean, I could keep drawing forever, but it's bedtime. Another day, another drawing, tomorrow. Pretty happy with that. Today I watched a movie called, I think it was called Black 47. It's about Ireland, the Irish potato famine. It had Hugo Weaving in it. I'm trying to think. I mean, of course he was Elrond in Lord of the Rings. And was he that Red Skull guy in Marvel? I had seen him in something else. I'm trying to think of what else I saw him in. But he was great in that movie. Like, he had this big bushy beard. Oh, it was incredible. He has a great scowl, like his eyebrows, you know? Of course he's in The Matrix, I know, but he's in something else recently that I saw him in. He's cool. He just has amazing eyebrows, really. All right, I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. It's been good. It's been great. It's been groovy. Oh. Good night.